So today we're out just setting up our home essentially. We've got this really beautiful garden down this way. It's about 25 feet by 25 feet-ish. There's another 25-foot run right there. There's more back over there. Those are blueberry bushes. It's a peach tree. We're gonna get a pear tree and a lemon tree. Hopefully, maybe next time we get some money. But we're gonna build a shop over here between about where that tape measure is and where Stacy is, between these two trees. It'll be 30 foot by 12. And running behind this tree centered on the camera here, we're gonna connect it over here to where the spaces where that wood is now between this tree and the shrubs to come forward and then have a carport right here. So Stacy and I were talking about how easy it would be to, put in a septic system and almost make like a little garage apartment out of it. And I was explaining to her that I used to have a license to install septic systems. People that don't know me, and even especially people that do, they enjoy considering to themselves that I'm an idiot. And I've been dealing with this my whole life, and I kind of like being misunderestimated because it makes things easier for me. But anyway, as a septic installer, one of the things that you got to know is that, excuse my French, children, close your ears, shit don't flow uphill. That's like the first only rule you learn at septic system school, even. And that gets back to what I've been telling you folks, that the physics of fluids dictate that liquids like water, whether it's gray water or black water, they always find level. They always have, they always will. There's no such thing as a curvature calculation for a septic system installation or a plumbing system or a railroad or a gyroscope or anything. Just stop and think, people. You've been sold lies, and trying to defend insanity only makes you come across as being more insane. As you say that my logical, rational thinking that can be reproduced and proven every day, all day by anyone is lunacy, while you speak lunacy to me. The mother of my children, my own father even, some asshole that thinks he's got the right to interfere with my children that calls himself a judge, in-laws, nephews, nieces, friends at school, teachers at school, all you people going around saying how smart you are, and y'all is worshiping Paul in Jesus' name in vain and don't even have a clue. And it's like first grade thinking that the scriptures show you in 100 places in no uncertain terms that man is no more an apostle than I am. That's how come he couldn't get into none of the churches. He didn't have a letter from James, the just, the brother of Jesus, the one who grew up with him his whole life and knew to tell Peter, because Jesus told him. And since Peter and James happened to be walking with Jesus for years, to, become apostles, unlike someone who just had a vision like Constantine, they knew that you're not supposed to shed blood because he came to do away with sacrifices, and that it's not possible to consume dead flesh without shedding its blood first. And that's why we are loaded with parasites and sick all the time, digestive problems and whatnot, because we're laden with these things due to our own ignorance. It says in the scriptures that how my people will perish for lack of knowledge. And this is just one thing that I'm talking about. There are so many things. Everything in life has a parallel to it. And one of the veins of truth, if you will, if you want to call it that, is the world's way. And in every situation, it's an opportunity for us to miss the mark and take the wrong path. Because there's another path right next to it. You could barely tell the two apart unless you knew what you were looking for. And that's the path that other people walk on. People who aren't interested in Spaceballs and stupid shit like that. People who are comfortable with the truth for accepting it. Even like for myself, how difficult it is for me to accept, the fact that I'm obviously involved in a lot of my own problems. Imagine that. Wow. Certainly not perfect. And don't let that be an excuse for the things I've done wrong either, because it doesn't fix them. I can only focus on myself. But I'm just saying that if you ever find yourself angry because somebody's telling you something that you don't agree with, and it's different from what everybody else in the world is doing, that's a trigger that was set there on purpose for a response that you're supposed to have because you don't know better, not because you're stupid, but because you don't have the information to know better. I know that most all of us are willing to do the right thing if we're soundly sure what that is. And so, we shouldn't be beating one another up and considering who's better than the other, or, why your shit smells worse than mine, I'm rubber, you're glue, and da-da-da. Oh my gosh. We've been trained to be confrontational in our very speech. This is all done on purpose. And it's up to us to see through it and change what we're doing accordingly so that we don't foolishly raise our children in utter ignorance and that they suffer for our stupidity the way I've done. Following the world, chasing money. For what? For not. But we're being taken care of now these days. And things are getting better. And I'm getting better. Stacy's migraines are going away. And we're being provided for in a really special way that I'm so grateful for. And whenever I post that song about moving out to the country and build ourselves a home and grow a little garden and eat a lot of peaches and try and find Jesus on your own, that's not just a song, that's me. That's what I'm doing. I'm walking out my faith. I'm exercising my faith. I'm studying scriptures that the Pope of all people says are heretical, because quite frankly, his behavior, all of them, it makes me sick to my stomach. And I figure if they're saying what I'm doing is wrong, there's a good chance it's spot on right. If you're going to build a septic system right here on this road, you need to keep just the right pitch or it's going to not work right. And that only happens on a flat stationary plane. And because this plane exists in a torus field, in a magnetic torus field, in the middle is going to be the plane, and you're going to have a top part of it, and it's going to be exactly the same as to the bottom part of it, of your opposing torus fields there. As above, so below. If the deepest place that man knows of in the seas of this world is 7 miles deep, the Marianas Trench and that hole dug in Russia, then just assume that's the pit. I mean, that's the bottom of the firmament on the bottom side of our biosphere that we live inside of, not outside of. It ain't spinning either. If it was spinning, you would feel it. I mean, if you just put gas on the pedal to the metal in your car and go from 5 miles an hour to 15, you feel the acceleration. And you're told you're spinning 1,000 miles an hour going around the sun. That's two directions. One, you're spinning. You're also moving around a huge object. And that huge object is being flung across the Milky Way bar galaxy, Mars bar and all, Pluto at the tail, well, like Disney characters, at 500,000 miles an hour, while that galaxy is being also in another direction at 1,000,000 miles an hour being flown, and you're supposed to accept this. My family's been at lakes all my life, and you can go out on a morning when the water's still like glass. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And they ain't moving, boys and girls. And that's not really my message here anyway. I'm just trying to say that's one example of, I could tell you, countless. And what you should know is, if it's possible to deceive the vast majority of the people alive in this world into something so idiotic that Einstein himself said any fool knows that we don't live on no spinning ball. And Tesla said that Einstein, with all of his theories, are just, fantastical bullshit. He's a character. It's what we call a Phoenician these days. But we're all Phoenicians in a way. Anyway, please don't forget that the physics fluids dictate that liquids like water always find level. They always have. They always will. It'll never change. It doesn't matter the age, the intelligence of the observer, the time of day. It's all the same. It's reproducible. You can check anytime you want. If you don't believe me, next time you go to have a bowl of cereal, put the bowl face down before you pour the milk and see how that works out for you as far as the mechanics of gravity and water sticking to balls. Do you understand the kind of black magic that we'd have to be under to even begin to accept any of this retarded bullshit? And I only say these kinds of things, well, at first, because my kids have had their childhood destroyed first. And then just as we get back together from all that madness, this comes in to be the catalyst that's used to turn them against their father. Whatever. If you think that it's okay for me, which would be so easy to just say, oh my goodness, it's true, I was wrong, I do live on the surface of a spinning sphere of mostly water. There's no integrity in that. Yeah, I could make people love me again, but God bless, what kind of people are these? I mean, come on, these are the people I love the most in the world. And if I'm having these problems, I bet you anything, I'm not the only one. One thing I do know for a fact, we're not supposed to hate one another over any of it. None of us. Because within each one of us is a spark of divinity residing that was created by divinity, in the image of divinity, in which divinity dwells, that we are the house of the Holy Spirit of our Creator. So, one of my greatest sins in the world is when I get angry and, after hearing it over and over, and then I finally be like, I've had enough is enough. I've had all I can stand, I can't stand no more. And everybody runs out of the room scared that I've sinned against all of them. I am dead wrong every time that happens. I don't hurt anybody, but I just, say, that's enough. And everybody gets upset about it. And when I was growing up, I didn't have no say-so on that kind of stuff. I'd get hit in the head if I did. I don't mean punched, like hurt, but it's a joke. Slapped in the head, beat in the butt, grounded, whatever. You can even touch your kids these days, you go to jail. Mine are acting like I tried to kill them or something. And these are really good boys. I love them so much. But they've been mind raped since they were little bitty by their people who are supposed to love them the most. And they were acting in fear. And I can't hate them for it. And I don't. I don't want them to hate me either. That's the point of what I'm trying to say. And at the base of it is, let's all be real with each other. Let's not lie. I know it's easier for, some folks, like say, possibly, people who've used this lie to separate my children off from one another, to later then admit, well, in truth, not only are you right, obviously, that I've known this whole time, it was serving my agenda to play dumb. I know that's not easy to say, but saying it on this side of the flesh is worth so much. And I just pray that those of you who do know better, just come clean about it and come out of the closet, if you will. You closet ballers. It's a joke. Love y'all. Hope you're having a good day.